Iron Man, also known as Tony Stark, is the only human superhero without having real superpowers, but rather using his intelligence and charisma to save people and make missions and adventures around the world. Being the first superhero to don't use other than his strength and money to make good things. Now, Iron Man is one of the best superheroes on my opinion because he's the smartest one there is. He's always ambitious to discover more things, but he has some flaws. And these flaws, according to the movies, can vary from being too greedy to find out new things such as science and stuff, or also about being too braggy and too disobedient and too risky in some missions because he can be sometimes too risky, too childish. And that's what the Avengers don't like about him. But he does his best and is supplying the Avengers with tech and money because he's rich, he's a billionaire because of his dad, and he inherited his father's company. How he started is because his father's and mother died on an accident on a car crash, so he had to take over the Stark Industries. But he had an accident during the presentation of Stark Industries, making him Iron Man with the help of a scientist that died on that occurrence on Afghanistan. And later he became Iron Man. He designed a suit to escape from that place. And when he came back home, he created a new suit that was new and more modified and technological and advanced as the one that appears on screen. Now we will talk about the flaws and criticism and possible changes that Iron Man can have during his performance, during the movies, and as a character himself.
Iron Man first appeared in the comic written by Stan Lee in 1963. The comic was based around the Vietnam War with the US, but instead of the setting being Vietnam, it was Afghanistan. It gave a clear perspective of, of wartime, and it entertained a lot of readers in the US. Iron Man has had a lot of adaptations in movies and has been a really successful franchise before the Avengers. The MCU benefited a lot from the movies, and the movies are praised because of actor Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal as the character. Since Robert Downey Jr. appears to be really human and have normal problems throughout the movies. But some fans criticize the movies since they are not completely true to the storyline, such as in the movie Civil War, the Winter Soldier kills Iron Man's parents, and that made Iron Man's motivations more legitimate and justified, and clearly put Captain America in the wrong. And that doesn't happen at all in the comics, and that put a lot of fans into questioning whether they enjoyed this decision or think that it was the wrong one to make. Iron Man has had a lot of changes throughout the movies and comics, like a new technology that has been introduced in the suit and new abilities the character can do. But still, the character of Robert Downey Jr. is a great portrayal that has been since the 2010 decade, and it has really been a good saga, and I think that it would be beneficial to the industry and to the MCU to make more movies about this superhero since they were so famous when they came out at first.